operators of ICOMs. And so let me introduce, first of all, my guest on the left side, Mr. Raymond Amaglo. He is the Chief Operations Director of Operations at Ghana Link Network Services, the operators of ICOMs, like I said. And I go to my right and introduce Mr. Justice Injoman Maga. Yaji, okay, you know what? You thought I was going to murder your name, right? Yaji, okay. I was going to say Yaji, but Yaji, okay. Great. He is supervisor at the Vehicle Valuation Unit at the Customs Technical Services Bureau, Customs Headquarters here in Accra. Thank you very much indeed, gentlemen, for honoring our invitation to share some thoughts with us on this very crucial topic, which is of utmost interest to many Ghanaians, importers, and players in the maritime or shipping industry.
Thank you.
And so let me begin with you, Raymond, and find out, apart from ICOMs that you have deployed at the ports, what are some of the activities that you do as Ghana Link Network Services?
Thank you very much, Kennedy. I'm glad to be here with you tonight. Ghana Link Network Services Limited is an IT solutions company. We focus mainly on trade facilitation solutions. We were registered in June of 2001. In 2003, we had an agreement with the government to provide destination inspection services for the GRA Customs Division. We're one of 5 companies.
Destination inspection companies.
Yes. Interestingly, Kennedy, we were the only indigenous company in that field. Right. We operated until 2015, when our agreement with the government was not renewed. That was then we were given another contract to provide external verification services in September of 2015 for the Customs Division once again of the GRA. At the same time, we also provide non-intrusive cargo scanning services at the airport, the seaport, and the various border.
That's through NIC-TC scan.
NIC-TC scan. Right. That's right. And then eventually we have deployed the integrated customs management system from 2000.
Right.
So Ghana Link, this is what we have been up to.
From 2000?
From 2020, yes.
Yes.
From 2020. This is what we have been up to.
Okay. So quickly, run us through some of the things we've done so far as ICOMs since the deployment in 2020.
During the deployment, we had to come up with a strategic plan to ensure that the deployment goes as smoothly as possible. In that regard, we had to start with the frontiers. So in March of 2020, we deployed the system at the various frontiers, Aflao, Elubo, Hamile, Kulungugu. And then in April, 1st of April, we deployed the system in the Tema port.
Right.
You know, the Tema port is a relatively smaller port. Sorry, the Takoradi port.
Yes.
The Takoradi port is a relatively smaller port compared to Tema.
Yeah.
For us to be able to succeed in Tema, we needed to succeed in Takoradi. So we're in Takoradi in April.
Right.
And then by May, we had deployed the system at the airport together with the downstream petroleum management system. And then in June, we eventually deployed the system in Tema. Currently, as we speak, the system is running across the entire country. We have connected in excess of 150 customs operational sites across the country. Because it's a web-based system, declarants are working from anywhere. I mean, once you have access to internet, you are able to work on the ICOMs. This contract was signed in March of 2018. And we have fully deployed the first phase modules. You know, the ICOMs is a trade facilitation system. It's an end-to-end e-customs management system. So what it means is that all the stakeholders or the players along the international trade supply chain are connected on ICOMs. So, of course, customs are on ICOMs. The shipping lines are connected. The airlines, the terminal operators, the warehouses, commercial banks, all the MBAs who are involved in issuing certificates, licenses, permits. So what has happened is that ICOMS has enabled the creation of a port community system, such that all players who need to play whatever role are connected, and there is transparency and an open view of whatever everyone else is doing. The system is paperless, as you know. So currently, we could confidently say that we have a true paperless port system. I think as the discussion goes on, the details will come out, but ICOMS is a modular system. So we have deployed all the first phase models, which includes the single window model, cargo management model, clearance management model, risk management model, stakeholder management model. We are done with the first phase models. We are currently at advanced stages with the development of the second phase models, and we will go deeper into that also
in the course of the discussion. Thank you very much indeed, Raymond. Let me come to you, Justice, and find out from you. I want you to walk us through the process of importing a car into Ghana.
Okay, thank you, Kennedy. I think the process of importing a car begins with the person buying the car in the first place. So when you buy your car, there are 3 stages. When you buy your car, you have to ship the vehicle. Then when the vehicle is shipped, it has to be cleared. So at the purchase stage, he goes to negotiate whether if it's a new vehicle, you should have an invoice. So based on the invoice, he pays, and then that's evidence of purchase. Then his shipper will take this vehicle to any of the shipping lines and try to get booked for shipment into Ghana. So when that is done, when they accept, it becomes a contract between the shipping line and the shipper. So in this case, he's issued with a bill of lading, which entitles the owner to the vehicle when he gets to Ghana, and he pays a freight for it. If he gets to Ghana, it has to be cleared through customs. So customs, in our clearance process, we demand that the duty is based on the CIF, that's cost insurance and freight. So it takes care of all these stages, 3 stages of buying the car, and then when you ship the car, you pay for it, and then when it gets to Ghana, it has to go through certain process. So we look at cost insurance and freight, so that everything is covered, because it has to be insured. If it's not insured, with a used vehicle, they don't insure them. So when it gets here, we have 0.87% of the CIF to come out with the insurance. So we then get all the components for duty computation, all the 3 components. So that is all about the buying, shipping, and then get it. So when you get to customs, the law in Ghana, what is placed is that if you bring anything, all the vehicles, even goods, when you bring anything to Ghana, you cannot clear the things on your own. So you need the services of an agent. And the agents, they are very important. Maybe some importers think that, why can't I go and clear? For instance, if you go and do the processing, customs accepts it. Tomorrow, if there's a problem, who do you hold responsible? So that is why the law...
Okay, because I know I have my TIN number. Now, we say any NI card number has replaced the TIN. And I travel abroad, I get a beautiful car I think I want, I import, and I come, and I know that I can go through the process myself because I have I know one of the key requirements before you can clear is the TIN number. I have my TIN number, I submit it, and I say I want to go through the process myself. Won't you allow me?
No. Let me tell you the reason.
Must I go and pay somebody to do that for me? When I know I can do it myself.
You see,
and perhaps pay myself.
In this world, we all have our role that we play. You cannot play double role. The agents have been registered to do the work they are doing. So assuming something goes wrong after clearing through customs, that's not the end. We have a post-clearance audit unit. Assuming they go in and they find that there's something wrong, where would they find you? Maybe you just came for holidays and you are gone back. That's one reason. The second reason is that the agent, to be an agent, the law requires that you have to be trained to the standard of a senior revenue officer in customs. So it means that he knows what he's doing, which document is required, even calculations. Some of the agents, when you make a mistake at a customs, they're able to tell you.
Justice, but I think you have some whatever for self-declarance.
Yes.
I think that is captured in your website.
Yes.
If you go to the GRA website,
yes,
it's captured there.
Yes.
So how does that
and
fit
doesn't
in?
go to everyone. You see, we have certain companies based on the job they are doing for the government or for the nation. They don't need an intermediary.
Okay.
So they come with their own agents. They employ them. They try to take them through their processes.
Okay.
What they bring, so they understand those people, they understand everything, even the components of product, they understand it. So with such people, the law allows for them to be registered as self-declared, but it can't be to an individual.
Okay.
It's
all right.
not
So
possible.
let's go back. Let's not digress. Let's
Yes.
go back to.
So when it gets to the clearance process,
Yes.
with your bill of lading, which is a contract between the importer and then the shipping line, he gives it to an agent. The agent is registered on ICOMS. So he inputs the details of the vehicle into the system with the tin, with the person's tin.
Yeah.
So so we require that it captures the make. Let's say Toyota, a Corolla, that's the model. If it's a saloon car, he has to state it.
Yeah.
If it has a special feature, for instance, when you are driving down, you see some, for instance, you can take Corolla, which is very common.
Yeah.
You can see LE, yes, he needs to declare it.
Yeah.
You see, so when you put your name, address, everything on the bill even has to go in, because the bill of lading, the information on it, what is on the manifest. The shipping line is supposed to submit the manifest to customs through ICOMS.
Yeah.
So your bill of lading should tally with what is on the manifest. If it doesn't tally, that is when they are allowed to do amendment, to amend the manifest. Let's say he gets here and realizes that instead of 2 in the chassis number, they put Z. He has to amend it.
Yeah.
Or maybe you are Yaobachi, and he goes to say Kosibuachi. That's not your name. Yeah. So the law allows that, he amends that. So before he puts it to the system, he has to ensure that every detail is correct. So when this is submitted to customs, we have 3 stages to go through.
Right.
We have the classification stage, which is the first stage. We have the evaluation stage, and then we have the supervisor level. So at the classification stage, the officer will go through the information submitted by the agent in the system on your behalf. So if he's testified, he then enter a remark that whatever has been done is okay, he has approved of it. Then it moves to the next stage, which is classification.
Right.
At this stage, the officer is supposed to look at...
I thought you said the first step was classification.
Classification.
Yes.
So if he's satisfied, because at this stage, he's
Then
going to
now
look
move
at
to
the
valuation.
details. Yes.
Okay.
At the classification stage, it's very important because he's supposed to ensure that the item is properly identified. So if it's a vehicle and goes to say it's a forklift, it's not the same.
Yeah.
Because the classification officer will check what is on the BL against what the agent has declared.
Yeah.
Then he will assign the HS code. And the HS codes gives specific descriptions to the items. Every item that comes into Ghana is in that book.
Right.
So when he goes in there, he can identify your item with a particular code, and that's together with the description of the item.
Yeah.
So when that is done, then you move to classification evaluation stage. Valuation officer, his job will also be to verify all what the classification officer has done, whether it is okay. He also looks at the BL, he goes through the details, whether it's a Corolla, it's saloon, it's whatever he has sent, everything is correct.
Yeah.
Then, if that is done and he starts, he then assigns a value. In the system, we have softwares installed.
Yeah.
And these softwares, they have various values for all vehicles coming from various zones.
Okay.
So, for instance, US is very common. So, with the US, we have the NADA, which is National Automobile Association of America.
Okay.
You understand? So, if they go into the system, you see that with the NADA, you go into it, and it gives you all the values on from vehicles from US in dollars.
Yeah.
If you go to the Eurotax software, that one is giving you values from Europe.
Yeah,
so
Europe,
they are all in Europe.
Yeah.
You have Australian values. So we have values for the various places. So the officer will look at the country of origin of the item. So, but with vehicles, sometimes it's different because you can have a US car coming from Germany or something. So if you look at the chassis number, you are able to determine that this car is an American car, but it's coming from. So sometimes the importers and even some of the agents, they don't understand that the car is coming from here. You have assigned a different value. You understand? So the officer looking at the chassis number will know where exactly it is originating from. Then he assigns the value to it. So when he assigns the value, the system allows for calculation of the duty. So he is able to calculate. And then when he calculates, he saves it, and then he will then forward it to the supervisor. So the supervisor will go to the same process. The supervisor will look at what the classification officer has done, whether it's correct, whether he really used, let's say, a vehicle from US, whether he really used a value from another. He will check whether the make is correct, the model is correct, the type is correct, the engine capacity, which was determined at the classification stage, whether it's correct, the age, which was determined at the classification stage, whether it's correct, the risk level. For vehicles, all vehicles go for physical examination. All vehicles. So the risk level will show red. We have various risk levels. We have the red, which is for physical examination. We have the green, we have the yellow, and then we have the blue. For vehicles,
I've heard of red, yellow, and green. I haven't heard of blue.
Blue is for post-clearance audit.
Post-clearance.
So after they've cleared, that one is automatically assigned to post-clearance audit. Yes. So when it is assigned red, the supervisor approves. If it's okay with everything. If it's not okay, he can either return it to the valuation, if it's a valuation issue, or to classification, if it's a classification issue. When that is correct, it comes directly to the supervisor. So when the supervisor is okay, then he then approves the BOE. That's the final approval. So it's not like the previous system.
They approve the what?
The BOE, the bill of entry.
Because we are speaking to people who
the bill of entry
these jargons, you know,
because
that you
what
use
the
in your
agent
work.
has submitted to you is a bill of entry. And the bill of entry is a declaration that he has made that I have A, B, C, D. I have a vehicle which is Toyota, the model is Corolla, this is the chassis number, this is the age. He declares all. Then when he comes, the officers will verify his declaration. So the bill of entry is just a self-declaration of an importer's consignment that he has shipped into Ghana. So when that happens, the supervisor approves. First time we had compliance. In the old system, these days it's not like that. So you see that first from CTSB, it gets to Tema, then to go to compliance. No. This time, what happens is that from the supervisor stage, it goes directly to the declarant. That's the agent. Then the agent, if he's satisfied, he will accept it with the valuation. If he's not, the system gives an option for him to reject the VOE, and then put his reasons. So in this case, he can appeal on what has been done. You understand that? So if he accepts that it's okay, then he has to go to the bank and then make the payment. When he does the payment, the BOE, then he has to go to shipping line. Because there are stakeholders along the line, he has to go to all of them. So if he goes to the shipping line, he has to pay the shipping line charges. And then when he pays the shipping line charges, he has to come back to the system, and then he has to book for examination officer. And then when he does that, when the shipping line, everything is done properly, the system will allow him to book for examination officer. You understand? But he has to go to Gapua if it is at Golden Jubilee, or go to Sabon if it's at Sabon, and then he pays the charges as well. So when he pays, with the shipping Sabon vehicle, they are not in containers. So the examination officer can easily go and examine the vehicle.
Those are the vehicles that come via Roro?
On deck, yes. We say they come on deck. Yes. But if it is in a container, he has to go pay Gapua, then Gapua will arrange to drop the container. They will position the container. and they will tell the agent when they position the container.
For examination, so that
for
examination can take place. Yeah.
Yes. So if he does a payment, they give him the time. He goes there the next day or the same day with the officer to open the container. So when they open, they have to examine the vehicle. But the officer at Tema, we have 2 stages there. Yeah. We have examination assistants, and then we have the examination officers. Okay. The examination of assistants, we used to call them markers. They just know that's the name they know. So his job is the technical aspect of it, to check whether the age that the classification officer assigned as TSB is correct.
It's actually correct, yeah.
The engine capacity, they make, you check the chassis number, whether it has been tampered with or it is correct.
Right.
If it's okay, he will write a report, and then you go to the examination officer. When he gets the examination,
does he have a system to check whether indeed the chassis number has not been tampered with? How does he check that? How does he verify the authenticity of the chassis number?
The issue is that when you get to the vehicle, with experience, that's why they call them markets. With experience, he gets to know that this chassis number has been tampered with. Okay. He will know because there are certain...
But you agree with that only experience alone is not enough.
It's enough.
Somebody can expertly do it without you,
It's the same way we get to know, because the job is such that when we are in it, for instance, if you are DVLA and somebody uses, let's say, super glue, uses fire and he bends the chassis number, he rewrite. If you experience, you know.
All right.
So with the experience,
what it means is that this particular rule requires very experienced
people. Yeah. Yes. So when they do their job, it goes to the examination. Then it informs the examination officer the technical aspect of it. So the examination officer will also go and examine the vehicle. Then you vet the BOE, the bill of entry, to ensure whether the duty calculations, the HS code assigned, the value assigned, if they see the values in the system, so they can compare what has been assigned on the system and what they also see. Right. If they disagree, then they have to raise a post-entry on the BOE, that bill of entry. And that has to go to the supervisor in Tema, or if it's Takradi or Apply or whatever. So they then ratify them. If it's on weight, we have a few things, weight, the chassis number, it will come back to head office. Right. The post entry will come. But there are a few things, let's say if the type, he describes that it's an art head, that articulate high head, we cut it short art head. But they find out that it's a tipper truck. It will resolve in Tema, it will not come to
headquarters.
Yes.
Okay.
If the examination officer is, however, satisfied, he then goes into the system and then he enters his remark in the system and then releases to the preventive officers at the gate. So when he gets to the gate, they will also do the same thing. So there are checks and balances. So they will also do the same thing. And then when they are sure of it, before they release the vehicle for home consumption. Right. So that is the process. Yes, please.
All right, so I'll come back to you and take a look at the relevant documents that one needs to have when you are going through the clearance chain. But let me come to Raymond and find out from you, at what stage during the clearance process does ICOMS come in?
The clearance process is done on ICOMS. So just like Justice explained, you would have to submit your documents, talking about the bill of lading, the invoice, the parking list. The very good thing about ICOMS is that it's introduced this clearance option, which is the pre-manifest declaration. Okay. So that even before the arrival of the vessel, once you have these documents I mentioned, you electronically will submit to the CTSB, and then they would do the classification, valuation, and then they provide you with your tax bill at your front end, talking about the declarant. Like you mentioned, you have the option to accept if you are satisfied. Once you accept, even before the arrival of the vessel, like I said, you are able to go ahead and make payment. All the commercial banks have been connected to the system, and all their various payment options are available. So in the comfort of your home, in your car, in your office, you can proceed to make payment and then wait until the arrival of the vessel, when you will now go for the physical inspection, like Justice explained, and then take delivery of the vehicle. So all these are done on ICOMS. And once you submit the documents electronically, all the various stakeholders who need information on the documents you have provided, they have them. Right. So you wouldn't need to be supplying documents to various agencies along the chain. So all the processes are done on ICOMS. And the advantage also with the pre-manifest declaration is that, like I said, once you make payment, it means that in the future, if, every week customs updates the exchange rate.
Sure.
In the future, when there is an increase in
it won't affect you.
It will not affect you, okay? Yeah. And then also, it helps you to plan because then you just are having to wait. And then once the vessel arrives, like just explained once again, you finish everything with the shipping line, you go to the terminal, then you make a service request, and then you're able to determine when you want to have take delivery of your cargo. All these are done on the system. Now, if the vehicle is in a container, it goes to the Golden Jubilee
terminal. Yeah.
Now, you have to take delivery of it within 24 hours. If you're not able to, then it has to be transferred to the safe bond terminal. Now, you are able to go on the system, and then automatically there is a transfer of the cargo to the Golden Jubilee, to the safe bond terminal. Yeah. And then an officer is also automatically assigned, and then the officer does the examination of the vehicle. All this done on the system. Yeah. Now, as part of the examination, if infractions are identified, a call is raised, if the penalty is raised, you are able to make payment right there at the terminal, even with your Momo, star 222 hash. Yeah. You can make payment. You don't need to go to the bank and come back. You make payment and then you're able to proceed. The system recognizes that payment has been made. The officer sees it, and then you are able to proceed. All these processes are done seamlessly on ICOMS currently.
All right. So what are some of the significant changes that you think that ICOMS has brought into the clearance chain?
Just like
compared to what was happening previously. Okay. Do you think that there have been any significant, changes?
Yes. A lot of significant changes. Now, I mentioned about exchange rate. So every Tuesday, the exchange rate is updated. Yeah. Previously, if you haven't paid your duty at the time the exchange rate is updated, you will have to put in a post entry before you are able to get a new bill. What ICOMS has done is automatically the system updates your records, so you can go back to the system and then just print. Your new tax bill. Yeah. It saves a lot of time. Now, like I also mentioned, all the commercial banks are connected. Their payment options are all available on the system, and you are able to make payment in no time. Now, the advantage also with this is that. Of course, vehicle importers are able to give money to agents to pay on their behalf. Right. But, with the way ICOMS works, you, the importer of the vehicle, you don't need to give your money to the agent if you don't want to.
You can pay directly.
You can pay directly, and you don't even need to give the receipt to your agent because the system immediately recognizes once you have made payment.
So they send you maybe a message that you've received payment.
There's a lot of transparency. The system has also introduced what we call a validation check for chassis numbers. Okay. Chassis is a very important item with the clearance. So there's a validation check such that now if you declare a chassis, it is locked in the system. And if another vehicle comes and that chassis comes up, the person is not able to proceed with the process on ICOMS. Now, customs would have to now verify what the issue is. Before a decision is made, and the system will now permit the process to continue. So this has also helped to ensure that there is transparency, there is a fair play for all players in the field. Yeah, these are a few of the changes that has come up
as far as ICOMS is concerned. So, Justice, let me find out from you. I told you I was coming to you for the relevant documents that one requires in the clearance chain. Yes. Particularly with regards to vehicles.
Okay, with vehicles, if it's a new vehicle, you have bought it, you have paid for it, so require an invoice. And then the invoice it's either FOB, that's free on board. It means that you are paid the importer, the owner of the goods in the country of manufacture, up to the point where the goods are put on the vessel.
Right.
You see, if it is, sometimes it's CNF, where it's cost and freight. So it means they are paid the owner of the good, the one who sold it to you. You paid him up to Tema, so you are paid the freight. Others will decide that they will go on CIF contract, where the seller of the goods will have to do all this arrangement, and they pay for it. Right. So they will pay for the cost, pay for the freight, and then pay for the insurance on the item up to Tema.
Okay.
Because that's our tax base, the CIF. In cedis, if we get foreign currency, then we convert into cedis. Right. So that is one item, document that they require if it's a new vehicle. If it's a used vehicle, this also applies to new vehicles, apart from the invoice. If it's also a used vehicle, then you will need the title. With the new vehicle, you don't have a title because it has not been registered. Right. But with the used vehicle, you need to have a title. You need to have a bill of sale for it. Even though it's a used vehicle, you are paid for it, so you have a bill of sale. So these documents will come together to show that you have properly acquired the vehicle. Because customs, for issues of risk management, issues of thefts, we look at stolen vehicles, so we need to be sure that you have these documents such that you cannot go and steal a vehicle from somewhere and then just take it. At the airport, you need a freight receipt. Right. We'll request for a freight receipt because we know for air freight, it's very high. Absolutely. So we'll look at the air freight as well. Then the airway bill will be part of it. So, and the bill of sale. So these are the items we require when it's at the airport. At the frontier, for instance, if...
When you say the frontier, you're referring to the borders?
Borders. Apply. When you go to the free port and buy the vehicle, or you buy it from the market.
That's if you buy from Togo?
Yes, from Togo, Lome. You need to go to customs, and then customs, they issue a customs declaration to cover it. And then the Ministry of Security will issue a document to show that the vehicle has not been stolen.
That's Ministry of National Security in Ghana?
No,
or their place?
Yes, all these documents are from Togo. Okay. And then they have an evaluation report, which will be added. So this document, you get them before you even get to customs. We call them douane. Right. In Togo. Yes, when you get it, then they, based on this, they issue their declaration, customs declaration, and then they will escort the vehicle together with your agent in Togo, not the agent in Ghana. Okay. The agent in Togo, they will escort the vehicle to Taflau customs point where they have a yard, then they park the vehicle. So what they will do is that based on the document, they will accept the vehicle into their yard. And then you then get an agent in Taflau who is in Ghana to apply for the valuation. Right. So basically, these are the documents that are required. Yes.
All right. Yes. So this is Iron Port here on Metropolitan Television. We're discussing the importation and clearance of vehicles in our ports here in Ghana. And you just heard Mr. Justice Njoman Maga Yajaim. Yes. And we also have Mr. Raymond Amaglo, who is Director of Operations at Ghana Link Network Services, the operators of the ICOMS, that's Integrated Customs Management System. Remember, you can send us your messages via WhatsApp line, which is 0559-019-177, 0559-019-177. Pretty shortly, we shall also be activating the phone lines because we know this is a very serious subject that's of utmost interest to you, so that you can call in and ask some questions. But for now, we're going for a short break. We'll be back shortly.
GOIL makes good things happen. This time, GOIL has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. GOIL Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. GOIL Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Gold Super XP Run 95 gives you a smooth driving experience that is less vibrations. Fill up with Gold Super XP Run 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goil has that sorted. Goil, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
So you're welcome back, and we are going straight into the discussion once again, and I'll go straight to Raymond this time around and find out from you, whether as an individual you have catered for me to be able to calculate my duty myself. Like if I come in with if I bring in a car, or even if I identify a car that I want and want to import, I perhaps want to know how much it would cost me to clear it once it comes in. Do you have anything of the sort in your system as far as ICOMS is concerned?
Yes, Kennedy, we do. When you log on to www.external.unipassghana.com, www.external.unipassghana.com, right on the front page, you would see a used vehicle duty calculator icon. So you click on that, and then you enter the details. There are two options. You could use the VIN to check the value, or you could use the make, the model, the type, the year of manufacture, and to give you a relatively fair idea of how much you would eventually be paying as duties and taxes.
You mentioned the VIN. That's a vehicle identification number?
That's right.
Yes. Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
So yes, there is a tool on ICOMS that enables you to check that. And normally, when you eventually bring the car in and clear it, the deviation is very, very minimal. Mostly, it's probably as a result of exchange rate changes. Otherwise, it's mostly fairly accurate.
Yeah. I'll be asking you how duties are calculated. You mentioned FOB, you mentioned CIF and all that. Now, there's this issue where people complain that maybe Larry came in with a BMW 5 Series, year of manufacture 2013, he paid 35,000 Ghana cedis as duty. I bring in the same vehicle, the same year of manufacture and all that, and I pay like 50,000. What accounts for that difference?
Maybe, yes, justice is...
All right.
For vehicle to get the right duty, the country of origin is very important, where it was manufactured.
Okay.
Let's say if it is a US car, somebody bring a US car, you bring one from Europe, a European spec, you have the same duty. That's one thing. Even if they are from US, they are both coming from US. You have a Corolla, he has a Corolla, and then you bring them to customs, and you say yours is LE and his is S. There's no way the duty will be the same. Because in picking the value from the National Automobile Dealers Association software, we have books too. The agents have them. They have the books. The software they don't have. So they're able to cross-check. So if you check, you see that the values are different for both cars, even though they are both Corollas. So if you put the cars side by side, you will see that this one has some features this one doesn't have. Look at the alloy wheels. They are different. You go into them, one will be leather interior, another will not be. If you are looking at DVD, some are loaded, others don't have. So this fits into the duty. If everything is the same, then the duty should be the same. Yes.
Okay. All right. So there are some messages.
Yes.
These are very key questions to asking, and I would want to get to that so that we see. This one says, "Hi Kennedy, please take note that used car values in the USA are devalued accordingly every month as a result of the new NADA book, which is issued with the prevailing prorated values of used vehicles. I want you to ask the customs officer on your show why they always use several months out-of-date NADA book values, and when you put a customs officer who values your vehicle to test, then he or she makes it seem as if they are doing you a favor with the value they throw at you. Some of us have been insurance adjusters and loan officers in the USA, and so we know how to value vehicles and other personal property. Kind regards from Pierrot."
Okay, to answer to this is that this is a commercial practice. It's a commercial practice that is not in our law. Our law says, if you go to section 60 of the Customs Act 891, it's giving us that for the value of a used vehicle, it should be a certain percentage of the first purchase price. And what is the first purchase price? The first purchase price is the price at which a dealer in the vehicle first sold the vehicle to the market. You understand? Yeah. So this, a dealer in the vehicle, where the vehicle was manufactured, the country of manufacture of the vehicle, the price at which he first sold the vehicle for use. So if you are taking a NADA, the reason we use the NADA and the Eurotax books are that if you go there, these are the values. If you look at the National Automobile Dealers Association, the headquarters in Virginia, the association is a body that protects the interests of their members. So they are able to pull all the various values from the dealers, from the manufacturers of the various vehicles, and they compile it into a book. So according to WTO standards, every customs administration is supposed to determine the way to value used vehicles. And with this, it didn't just stop there. It gave certain guidelines, which doesn't include the commercial practice. For instance, what he is saying, if you were to bring a vehicle and then it is new, then we take the invoice value as it is. But if it's not new and it's used, our law says we should use the first purchase price. So we cannot go into a commercial price just as STC does. When you have a vehicle and you want to auction it or sell, you go to them and they will then look at the vehicle. Customs officer cannot be, let's say, a mechanic to go and be looking at how. That's why it has been graduated. So if the vehicle is not more than 6 months, the law says that we should treat it as new. But if it exceeds 6 months and it is no more than 1.5 years, we have to give a certain percentage. That's 15% depreciation. If it is exceeding 1.5 years, not exceeding 2.5 years, then we are giving 30% depreciation. If it exceeds 2.5 years and not more than 5 years, the law says we should give 40%. If it's beyond 5 years, then we are giving 50% depreciation. So that's the law. So we cannot leave the law as it is and go into a commercial practice. So that is the answer to the question.
Right. Okay, so this one says, it's very sad the value of used vehicles in Africa always appreciates as it depreciates in developed countries. Please educate us on the importation and clearance of used or new vehicles brought from America or Europe. Our head teachers and nurses have some discounts on such vehicles. Is that right?
That thing has been suspended.
Okay.
Yes, they used to get.
Yeah. I know there used to be some discount for them in terms of duty.
It's not discount. It was an exemption they were getting.
Okay.
So anytime they brought in the vehicles, for every 5 years, you can change your vehicle.
Right.
That was the policy. But along the line, it was detected that some of them abused the policy.
Okay.
Some did it for their relatives, and so even in the auditing process,
they did it for their girlfriends. Yes. You didn't want to say it. I just said it for you. That was on the lighter side.
In the auditing process, these things were discovered. Yeah. So they decided to suspend it. So it wasn't a discount. It was
there was abuse.
An exemption. Yes.
Okay.
And,
it was
exemption. Abuse. Yes.
For professionals, nurses, teachers, and all that. Okay, I'm sure they would be praying that it should be brought back so that there perhaps can be some strict monitoring to ensure that people do not abuse it. Let me come to you, Raymond, and find out. I know this is phase 1 of ICOMS, and so far so good, and we know there are stakeholders who have attested to the efficient manner in which it is currently operating. And as and when it goes down, I mean, quickly it is resolved, and then, business is back, booming. What are some of the things we're looking at doing in the future? I know there's phase 2, which is coming. Just a brief about it, and then we can activate the phone lines whilst the discussion continues.
Okay, maybe I'll speak to one that would very much interest viewers and listeners as relating to the vehicles.
If you are talking about e-auction,
yes,
e-auction, I don't see how it works. Because I can't buy a car online, and then when I've not even inspected it, then I go to pick my car, and if you're not my copy, there are 2 trucks. So tell me,
okay, so you'll be allowed to
inspect the vehicle. Okay, nice one, nice one. So walk us through that.
So the e-auction model we are introducing, like you have alluded to, largely the auction process is a manual currently. So we are working on an e-auction model. So how it works is that when the vehicle has gone to UCL, uncleared cargo list, so there will be an examination of this vehicle, and then evaluation and classification will be done. Once this is done, there will be a gazetting, and then after the gazetting, the UCL list will now be registered. After registration, now it will be made available for auction, and the auction would be done online. Interested people are able to bid, and then whoever wins the bid, the system will generate a bill for you, and then you make payment, and then you are able to take delivery of the vehicle. Yes, so we are about 70 to 80% done with this. Hopefully, before the end of this month, latest next month, this should be available for our stakeholders to take advantage of. We also have another model we call the Advanced Passenger Information System.
Okay.
This would be used mainly at the airport. It is for risk profiling of both cargo and humans. And it will also help manage our revenues in the process. We also have the e-wallet.
Okay.
The e-wallet works in this way. When you have made payment for duties and taxes, and for whatever reason you have overpaid, in your subsequent transaction with customs, which requires you to make payment, you are able to call on that outstanding amount to defray what amounts you now have to pay to customs. We also have the authorized economic operator. This model is aimed at ensuring that there is a customs to business partnership of a sort, mostly for compliant members across the international supply chain. So all the players, all the stakeholders, all the actors, talking about freight forwarders, warehouse operators, carriers, terminal operators, all of them who are compliant, they will go through, let me say, quite a rigorous registration process. And then they will not have very intrusive examination, and then they will also be given priority whenever they are having to import or export. These are a few of the models we'll be introducing.
That's for phase 2.
For phase 2, yes.
ICOMS implementation. So let me come to you and find out. I know that when you bring in your car, there are days, a number of days within which you have to clear it. Failure to do so, government comes in and takes it. Can you educate us on this?
Yes, before I even go that, let me go back to the previous question you asked. You see, the evaluation we do, and the act that governs it, it has a history. You see, what he was talking about is a commercial transaction. Previously, from 1966 after the coup, Ghanaians who were returning to Ghana, these were things which were done for them. They were asked to just bring their bill of sales, and they were used for used vehicles for assessment for them. But at a point, they realized that they were doctoring them.
Okay.
So this law has a history. It is a law that has been made to create a certain standard for everyone. So, let's say you bring Corolla, and then the same age, the same CC, the same, everything is the same.
Yeah.
And then I also bring the same thing, and then we have different bill of sales, and then we pay different taxes. It's not fair.
Yeah.
That equity element is not there. So this law is supposed to ensure that everything is equitable, there's fairness, there's fair play, and everybody goes his way.
All right. Before you answer the question, let me announce that the phone lines are activated, and so if you are watching us, please do call 020-552-8353, 020-552-8353, and let's see what questions you have for my guests in the studios. Yes. So
yes, with the vehicles,
number of days you have to clear your vehicle from the port.
With vehicles, you just have 60 days, within which after discharge.
Yeah.
So 60 days after discharge of the vehicle from the vessel. That's the final discharge. Let's say when the vessel comes to the port, it takes 3 days or 7 days. It's able to finish the discharge. So we count from that day when it has finally finished everything. So from that day as to the 60th day, if you are not able to clear the vehicle, the vehicle is deemed forfeited to the state. But there's an element there, with the manifest that we receive into the system, everything on the manifest is supposed to be dispensed of. Is the reason why it is there.
Right.
This element of forfeiting the vehicle.
Yeah.
So if you bring your vehicle and you clear it with the process, you're able to pay and you clear it, the system strikes it off the manifest.
Okay. Okay. Yes, please hold your fire. Let me go onto the phone lines and welcome a caller, and then we'll continue. Okay. Hello, good evening, caller. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Kindly tell us your name and where you're calling from, and proceed with
Mohammed Tete.
Mohammed?
Yeah, I'm called Mohammed Tete, please.
Okay, please flow, Mohammed.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Mohammed Tete.
Achimota Mohammed, yes, please flow.
Yeah, please, I want to make a contribution, or I want to ask a question.
Okay.
My question goes to the custom officer. I'm a cargo driver who always apply Kumasi, Accra to Kumasi. But at the checkpoints, they always collect money from us. I want to know what they are doing with that money. The last time when I was applying this route, the custom officers charged me every Ghana from the charge that I charge the owner of the goods. This thing is affecting us. So please, I want to find out from the customers, what are they doing with that money? That's my question. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, Mohammed from Achimota. He says you guys, customs officers, you stop them on the way, you charge them money, and they don't know whether the money goes into the government kitty or what you do with it.
This is an allegation because when you are carrying goods from Tema, and you have duly paid duty and everything, and you get to the checkpoint, and somebody is demanding money, you have the right to challenge. So you shouldn't have paid the money in the first place. So you should have asked the officer why you are taking the money. Because tax is not supposed to be collected by any officer. It's supposed to be paid in a bank without any system. So anytime he gets there and he asks for money, you should ask them why they are collecting money. Because if they are paid the duty and they are going with the goods, why should they
There's no
money?
statutory payment on the way,
No.
so there's no way he should pay anybody any money.
No.
Okay, when they demand. So Mohammed, you heard him. You have the right to resist. And sometimes if you resist and there are delays, anyway, so let me come back to you.
Yes.
Let's go back to
with the 60 days.
Exactly, yes.
So if you clear your goods, it's struck off the manifest. The remaining vehicles on the manifest, there should be a way we have to clear the whole manifest. So that is why this 60 days is there. And then with the congestion in the port. So these things came in just to ensure that vehicles are cleared from the port so that there will not be any congestion.
Right.
Even the revenue element of it, we have to unlock the revenue to the state.
Yeah.
So if you leave it 60 days, it will be deemed forfeited to the state.
Okay.
So in the system, it's programmed such that 60 days automatically
It goes
the
onto the
person is
UCL.
blocked.
It goes onto the
Yes, you
uncleared cargo
cannot
list.
enter,
Okay.
put in a BOE to be able to clear it.
All right, let me go onto the lines and welcome Boat. I guess he's calling from Kumasi. Hello, good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Can you raise your voice a bit, please?
Yeah, please, my name is Wilson, calling from Kumasi.
Okay, please flow.
Yeah, last year I imported a Toyota Yaris 2009, and the price that I paid is different from. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, please.
And the amount that I paid is different from the one that I paid this year. For instance, it was 2010, and I
Is
paid
that 2009?
10,000 and over. But this year, the price increased.
Okay. All right, Wilton, so what you are saying is that last year you imported a
I want to ask the custom officer the reason for that.
Okay, no, come again. You said last year you imported a 2009 Yaris Toyota.
Yes.
And then this year you imported the same, but the duty has changed.
Yes, the duty has changed. It has increased.
Is the engine capacity the same?
1.5.
1.5. Okay. All right, so he'll give you a response.
Yaris.
Thank you, Wilton. Thank you very much indeed.
And 20.
Okay. With the vehicles, he cleared it last year. So he shouldn't expect to pay the same amount of duty when it comes this year. What was the exchange rate last year compared to this year? So if everything is the same, the exchange rate will account for the difference. Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'll come back. I need you to tell us something about the overaged vehicles.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes people are not aware. They go and bring a vehicle and then they slap them with a penalty. They say, but how? This old car to how? You know, that kind of thing. And so we'll come and look at it. But there are still so many messages here that we need to deal with. This one says, hi, can you please kindly ask the ICOMS man how we can check for cars that are cleared under the GCNet system in the system now as far as ICOMS is concerned. I don't know what he means in the GCNet system. Maybe he wants you to walk him through the process, you know.
Maybe I can begin and you continue. You see, with certain vehicles were cleared under the GCNet system. But when you get to DVLA, they don't have access to the old system.
Yeah.
So they were asked to migrate the BOEs, the bill of entries, onto the ICOMS.
Hold your fire. Yes, we'll come back for that response. But let's go on to the phone lines and welcome another person from Kumasi. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Please go ahead with your submission.
Okay. Yes, good evening, Ken. Yes, Ken, I can hear you.
Say,
good evening, Ken.
Hello.
Yes, Ken, I can hear you.
Please, yeah, you have to speak up a bit. We can barely hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Absolutely, yes.
All right. This whole thing about import duties in Ghana. Hello, Ken.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Your voice is gone back again. Can you speak up again, Lord? Hello, Lord. I think we're having challenges with Lord's line. I think it's dropped, so we'll try and then see if the producers can raise him up again. We'll continue with it with him. Yes.
So they were asked to migrate onto the ICOMS system. So if you don't do that, then when you get the DVLA, you cannot register the vehicle because they don't have the particulars of the vehicle in ICOMS.
Right.
But some of them have not done it. And it's so simple. A CPC has been created, and then they are supposed to use the CPC, and then they have the hard copies of the GCNet. You upload it on the system. If you before you even do that, you write an application, add them, go to, if it's Tema, you go to the AC, you refer to the investigations, they will go through. They have a partial access to the GCNet system. So they're able to confirm the charge system by and know that you are paid. Then you upload them into the ICOM system. Then the supervisors, when he gets there, the supervisor will look at it and accept it. Okay. And that is all. So when he gets to DVL, he's able to register the car.
Right. Yes. Okay. So this one says, kindly inform the operations manager that the VIN can't be used to ascertain taxes from the ICOM's model. Is that true?
No. It's working.
It's working.
I don't know if there's a particular challenge he's having, but it's working.
All right, so let's go onto the phone lines and welcome Mills. He's calling us from Accra. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Dozy, yes.
Yes,
okay,
please.
Okay.
Concerning about the answer that the customer officer just gave to my friend, concerning about the duty, a friend who said he imported a car last year in Clarice and the duty now is double of the price.
Yes.
Yes. I just want to find out, he is using dollar rate to the dollar rate has increased. That is why the clearing this year has also been increased. Do we use dollar rate to charge our customers or clients in Ghana? Is Ghana using dollar to charge people, or we are using CD? If it is CD and the adjustment and fees, we shouldn't be dollar rate. Now I want to find out something. As compared to Togo, their rates are just fixed. So clearing car in Togo, like buying car importing car through Togo is very cheaper than in Ghana. And Togo and Ghana, I would suggest to authorities now that we should also try the free port. I think that is generating more money in Togo than in Ghana. So they should think of the free port. They should learn from the Togolese.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Dozy. Would you want to give a 30-second response
with the exchange rate issue? You said that the either is goods or vehicles, they are not produced here. So wherever you bought them, we have to cost it based on where you brought the origin. You see, so when it gets here, we don't charge taxes in foreign currency. The tax is charged in Ghana cedis. So what we do is to use the prevailing rate from Bank of Ghana to convert from whatever currency, whether it's euro, dollar, it's Japanese yen, into Ghana cedis before we calculate the taxes. So that is where the exchange rate comes in. If not, I don't see what to say. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So this one says, can the officer please clarify why classic vehicles and electric 00cc vehicles are so high? I'm sure he's talking about the duties.
The problem is that, when the CT came, the ECOWAS Common External Tariff, when it came in 2015, there was a problem where we realized that for all the trucks, there was supposed to be 10% import duty. And then when you come to...
Justice, please hold your fire. Let me go to Nana Day from Kumasi and come back to you. Hello, good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening. I'm Nana Day calling from KNUST.
Great. Nana, thank you very much for calling in. Please go ahead with your submission.
You're welcome. Please, I'm a student reading business administration to statistics and supply chain. And I would first of all like to appreciate Ghana adopting the use of the ICOM. It is very good. But I would like to ask the custom officer, please, with regard to the 60 days that is ultimatum that is given to people who import cars. After that, he says it goes to the state. When it goes to the state, what does the state use those vehicles to do? Thank you very much.
Nanadi, thank you very much indeed. We're grateful for your call. He says when the vehicle is taken by the state, what do they use?
Okay, you have an option to apply for restoration. If the 60 days is not the end, even though it has been forfeited to the state, the law still allows for people to apply to the commissioner, and then commissioner looks at your system, he restores the vehicle. In that case, you are supposed to pay the taxes and clear. But when you fail to do so, the state is supposed to dispose of the vehicle as it deems fit. So usually it's either allocated or it is auctioned at a public auction for people to buy. So these are the ways that we dispose of the vehicles, and the revenue goes to the state.
State, okay.
Yes.
All right. So let's go back to the electric
Yes,
and zero
with the
zero
hybrid.
CC,
So with those cars which fall on buses were supposed to be 10%, and then the vehicles where they have problems with this hybrid, where it was, all of them were supposed to be 20%.
Right.
So what was done was that they looked at vehicles which were, because ECOWAS had a window where you could apply for certain different, yes.
All right.
To
Sorry to interrupt you again.
Yes.
Let's go and speak to Felix from Accra, and then he's going to be our last caller because our time, Prince, our time is fast running out, and so you are our last caller. Good evening and welcome to the show. Hello, Prince.
Yeah, hello.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Please speak up a bit and be a bit snappy.
Hello.
Yes, Prince, we can hear you.
Yeah,
Please.
I'm calling from Mungwa, and I wanted to know what was saying.
Your line is not clear.
That's what I was saying. I wanted to the taxes last collected.
Prince, we are not getting what you are saying. Can you position yourself properly? Prince, can you lower down? Can you lower the volume on your TV set before you speak? Can you lower the volume on your TV set? We are not getting you. If you can speak a bit audibly. Are you there? All right, I think we've lost Prince, and we just have to move on. So quickly, some 30 seconds, and then we
so
you know,
where those hybrid cars fall, in the HS code, and that's 8703.
Okay.
They were all supposed to be 20%. And in 2015, we didn't have hybrid cars coming in. You see, so when we were looking at, because ECOWAS will not allow everything to be reduced.
Right.
So those vehicles which had volumes were those that were, because you need to prepare your argument before you get there. So when the HS codes were picked, it didn't include hybrid cars.
Okay.
So the hybrid cars stayed at the ECOWAS rate of 20%. So that is why it is 20%, but you know, in paying taxes, people will not understand.
Absolutely.
So that's a brief on
All right, so let me take your last bit about the overaged vehicles. Just in 30 seconds, if you can tell us what that is. Educate the masses, and then I'll come to Raymond.
So for overaged vehicles, they've been categorized. We have motor cars, which are the small cars, the saloon cars, the station wagons, like the one we say 4x4. And then we have the wagons. Those ones, the overage penalty has been graduated. So if for every vehicle, if the age is beyond 10 years, let's say from the year of manufacture, counting from the year of manufacture, it's an overage vehicle in Ghana, according to our law. So the penalty has been graduated, said that depending on the year, you pay a certain penalty. Because it's a punitive measure. So for small cars, if it is more than 10 years, up to 12 years, you pay 5% of the CIF. The CIF is our tax base.
Right.
If it's beyond 12 years, up to 15 years, you are supposed to pay 50%. If it's beyond 15 years, up to 25 years,
you pay 100%?
70%. Yeah, so it has been graduated. So if you come to the trucks, if it's more than 10 years up to 12 years, you pay 5%.
Right.
If it's from 12 years, beyond 12 years, up to 22 years, you pay 10%.
Okay.
If beyond 22 years, then you have to pay a penalty of 30%.
All right.
And then when you come to the buses, the same way, beyond 12 years, between 10 years up to 12 years, you pay 2.5. Beyond 12 to 15 years, you pay 10%. Beyond 15 years, up to 20 years, you pay 20%. Beyond 20 years, up to 25 years, you are supposed to pay 50%.
Okay.
So they have been graduated, yes.
Right,
so they have been graduated. So depending on the
right.
the age you
Thank
bring.
You very much,
yes.
Justice. Let me come to you, Raymond, for your final words. I know there's so much confidence in the system now, and you guys are doing a tremendous job at ICOMS, with ICOMS. Tell us, just a few words, 30 seconds, what advice you have for those that are using the system.
Thank you very much, Kennedy, for the very good compliments about the system. Indeed, what system we have deployed can favorably compare with what system applies in any advanced world. The system is very robust, like I mentioned, because it's a community-based system. All players are on board, and we would encourage our stakeholders, especially the declarants, to ensure that they are putting in the right information when they are doing the declaration. The system is able to frustrate you if you are not compliant.
Yes.
So if they want a very smooth process, now vehicle declarations are being churned out in a matter of hours, I mean, from customs. So if they are able to, I mean, accurately declare and truthfully declare, they would have a very, very good journey with ICOMS. And quickly to say a very big thank you to all the stakeholders. It's been a tremendous work over the period, and we are very grateful. I might not have time to mention everyone, but just to also say that with the deployment of our second phase models, we need them like we have needed them. So they should just continue with us, and Ghana will be the better in the end. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Raymond Amaglo, he's the Director of Operations at the Ghana Link Network Services, the operators of the Integrated Customs Management System, ICOMS. And I also say a very big thank you to Justice Njoman Maga. Jaim. He is the supervisor at the Vehicle Valuation Unit at the Customs Technical Bureau Services at the headquarters of Customs. Remember, the program is proudly brought to you in association with Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Ghana Revenue Authority, Goyle Company Limited, Serene Insurance, and Ghana Link Network Services. We still have tons of messages here. We can't take them. And so please make a date on Wednesday at 8 p.m. and watch the abridged version on Ghana Television, GTV. Your concerns and messages will be addressed over there. We thank you so much. My name is Kennedy Mona. God willing, we shall see you again next week, Sunday.
Yes.
Enjoy your evening.
Thank you.